The movie begins with a professional hitman named John, a man known for eliminating anyone for the right price. He's one of the most expensive assassins in the criminal underworld. But after earning a fortune, John retires. Now, he just wants a peaceful life with his wife, Natasha. One day, Natasha tells John that she's going out of town for a few days with her best friend, Nora. She asks him to take care of Nora's stepdaughter while they're away. The girl's name is Sang-Yun. She's 17 years old, and her father left after a divorce, so now she lives with her stepmother. John hesitates, saying a 17-year-old can take care of herself. But after Natasha insists, he finally agrees. Still, he doesn't feel good about having a stranger in his house. The next day, John drops Natasha and Nora off at the airport. That evening, he goes to pick up Sang-Yun from a coffee shop. But she tells him she wants to stay over at a friend's place. John agrees, but before letting her go, he gives her some money and secretly slips a tracking device into her wallet, just in case. He drops her and her friend near a mall and heads home. But at midnight, Sang-Yun calls him, saying she has severe stomach pain. Worried, John rushes out to help. When he gets there, he finds Sang-Yun laughing and hanging out with her boyfriend. She had lied to him. John is furious inside but controls his anger. He asks her to come home, but she says she's going to another friend's house. John starts to leave but sees her going off with her boyfriend again. Realizing she's fooled him twice, John becomes more alert. The area didn't feel safe. So John checks the tracking device and follows her location. He ends up at a shady, deserted place. There, a girl named Na tells Sang-Yun she'll give her $200 if she pleases one of their clients. Now it's clear, Sang-Yun's boyfriend brought her here on purpose. A woman named Donna threatens her, saying, if she doesn't cooperate, she won't be allowed to leave. She even tries to slap her. But before she can, John shows up. He warns them, if anyone lays a finger on Sang-Yun, he'll deal with them himself. One of the guys, thinking John is just a regular man, tries to attack him with a knife. But John, being a trained killer, quickly disarms him. More guys charge at John, but he takes them down one by one with ease. He tells everyone to leave the girl alone. Then, Donna tries to stab him with a knife. But John doesn't even flinch. John punches Donna, and she falls unconscious. He takes Sang-Yun with him and leaves the place. From that moment, Sang-Yun starts seeing John in a different light. She begins to trust him, and a genuine bond forms between them. Later that night, they go out for dinner. On the way back, they encounter a police checkpoint. Officer Lee stops John's car and begins asking questions. He explains that several college students were murdered nearby, and they're checking all vehicles in the area. After a brief exchange, Lee lets them go. Curious, John looks up the news later and realizes the murdered boys were the same ones he had fought and killed. Though they had bad intentions, John still feels a hint of guilt. The next morning, Officer Lee visits John's home. He's suspicious. He shows John CCTV footage of his car near the crime scene the night before. John stays calm and replies, "Mine wasn't the only car on that road. There were others too." Lee then shows him another blurry clip, Sang-Yun seen with the same boys before their deaths. The image isn't clear, so John deflects it, but he starts suspecting Lee's motives. His investigation was too accurate. After Lee leaves, Sang-Yun nervously apologizes to John. She's visibly shaken. Seeing her like that reminds John of a girl he once saved. A girl who had lost all hope and was about to end her life. John had stopped her and told her to move forward. Just then, Donna calls Sang-Yun. She speaks to John, warning him, "All those boys are dead. And that knife you took from them? It has your fingerprints. If I hand it over to the police, you're finished. Come to the location I'll send you within an hour, or I'll turn everything in." John agrees to meet her. Before leaving, he gives Sang-Yun a bracelet with a hidden tracker. He then heads out alone. He arrives at a shady building and meets a man named Jung, Donna's cousin. Jung is involved in trafficking underage girls. He orders one of his men to kill John, but John easily overpowers him. He demands the knife with his fingerprints. Donna refuses. So John starts torturing Jung's man. Terrified, Jung throws the knife toward John. But just as John bends down to pick it up, Jung starts shooting and flees. John chases after him. On the way, John faces off against a skilled fighter. It's a tough battle, but John defeats him and escapes. He rushes back home, only to find that Sang-Yun is gone. She's been kidnapped. Thanks to the tracker in her bracelet, John quickly pinpoints her location. He grabs his weapons and speeds off. He arrives at a dark alley and launches a surprise attack. Donna tries to run, but John catches her. He demands to know where Sang-Yun is. Donna warns, "If you kill me, my people will kill her, and you won't even find the body." John doesn't kill her, but he tortures her for answers. Finally, Donna confesses everything. She reveals that their gang kidnaps young girls and sells them to rich clients. Sang-Yun was handpicked by a wealthy buyer who paid a hefty sum. John asks for the client's name, but Donna says she doesn't know. Only her boss has that information. She gives John the address of the hotel where Sang-Yun is being held. John sets off toward the hotel. Shortly after, Officer Lee arrives at the building and finds Donna dead in one of the rooms. Meanwhile, John reaches the hotel. As soon as he enters, a group of thugs attack him. But John, being a professional killer, takes them all down with ease. Still, Sang-Yun remains trapped. A man named Yuri appears. He's a top fighter working for the Russian mafia. He tells John, "Tomorrow at 8 a.m., Sang-Yun will be shipped to Russia. But you won't live to stop it." John, focused on saving Sang-Yun, avoids the fight and tries to leave. But Yuri follows him, and a brutal battle breaks out. Both men are highly skilled, and the fight is evenly matched. Eventually, John ties Yuri up with a rope and jumps out the window, landing on a car belonging to Officer Lee. Lee pulls a gun on him and orders him to the police station. But John swiftly disarms him, locks him in his own vehicle, and takes off using Lee's car. Time is running out. John reaches the cargo port, where Sang-Yun is being loaded onto a ship bound for Russia. John spots her in a car and storms in. He unleashes fury on the gangsters, killing them all. But then Jung appears and attacks John. John overpowers him and demands to know who ordered Sang-Yun's kidnapping. Jung refuses to answer. Without hesitation, John shoots him. Nearby, the crime boss watches, shocked by what John has just done. As John searches Jung's body, he finds a phone and discovers that Jung's last call was made to Officer Lee. At that moment, John realizes that Lee is also involved with the gang smuggling young girls. John confronts him, saying, "Tell me who's the right-hand man behind all of this, or I'll hand this phone to the media. Once they trace the calls, the truth will come out. You're a corrupt officer helping a trafficking ring." Just then, a police team is seen arriving nearby. Feeling the pressure, Lee agrees. He reveals everything to another officer at the scene, including what happened to Sang-Yun and how John was involved. He makes sure Sang-Yun is safely taken to the hospital. When Sang-Yun regains consciousness, she apologizes to John tearfully, blaming herself for everything. But John comforts her and says, "None of this is your fault." Meanwhile, at the hospital, Lee tells John, "I've covered up all the killings you committed while saving Sang-Yun." John responds, "I already suspected your connection with Donna's boss. I saw Donna's dead body in your car's trunk. You removed her body because you knew if the police found her, they'd trace it back to your boss during the investigation." Lee is stunned by this revelation. John adds, "You want this to stay buried? Then bring me information about the Russian mafia involved in this trafficking operation." Lee is hesitant. He knows how dangerous this is. But with evidence that could destroy his entire career, he eventually agrees. The next day, Lee contacts John and shares the address of a hotel where a man named Park is staying. Park is a gang member involved in kidnapping underage girls and shipping them to Russia. However, Park gets wind that an Interpol officer is onto him, so he tries to flee the hotel quickly. But John arrives just in time. One by one, John eliminates Park's men and beats Park brutally, demanding answers. To expose the operation further, Park calls a woman known as Pig Mama, a central figure in the trafficking ring. Through the phone call, John learns a shocking truth. The person who had requested Sang Yun is none other than Judge Kim. Park explains, "We kidnap underage girls and send them to the judge. He selects one for his own pleasure, and the rest are trafficked across Russia and Asia for massive profits." After getting all the information he needs, John kills Park. Now, he knows the horrifying truth. Sang Yun was being sold to a powerful man in the system, Judge Kim. John makes a call, and within minutes, a team arrives at the location. This team quickly clears the entire crime scene, disposing of every dead body to ensure no evidence is left behind. Their job is to erase any trace of what happened. They work exclusively for gangsters and the mafia. Afterward, John meets with one of his contacts who deals in illegal arms. He collects a large sniper rifle from him. Now John is fully armed and ready. Soon after, Lee contacts John and warns him that the judge behind all this is the president of the Central District Law. He's deeply connected to powerful politicians. So Lee admits he can't go up against him. But John doesn't back down. Being a professional assassin, he's not intimidated by any politician or official. He gets the judge's location. Lee also reveals something personal. Song Yun's biological father died in a car crash. Since then, she's been living with her stepmother. With everything he needs to know, John heads to a hotel, where Judge Kim is entertaining several young girls. John positions himself and uses his sniper rifle to eliminate all of the judge's bodyguards one by one. Pig Mama had just sent a new girl to please the judge. As John storms the building, he continues shooting relentlessly. Yuri is also present and opens fire on John. A fierce shootout breaks out between them. Officer Lee is at the scene too. He was working with John. But the moment he sees an opportunity, he turns his gun on John. Yuri captures John and drags him in front of Judge Kim. John stares at him and asks, "Are you the one who requested Sang Yun?" The judge just laughs and orders Lee to kill him. Lee takes John outside, but John quickly turns on him and attacks. More gang members rush in to kill John, but he fights back fiercely, taking them all down in a matter of seconds. He tells Lee, "I surrendered just to get close to the judge." Then, John kills Lee. Right after, Yuri shows up again and starts shooting at him. Another intense battle breaks out between them. Eventually, John overpowers Yuri, seriously injures him, and kills him as well. Now, John walks into the judge's room. Realizing his fate, the judge tries to buy his life, offering John a lot of money and a position in his organization. John ignores the offer and instead asks about Pig Mama. The judge admits that Pig Mama is his partner, and works alongside him in the trafficking business. With all the information he needs, John kills the judge too. Meanwhile, Natasha is seen chatting with her best friend Nora. Suddenly, Nora receives a call. She steps into her car to answer it. The call is coming from the judge's phone. What's revealed next is shocking. The judge had been doing all his trafficking work in partnership with Nora. Nora is actually Song Yun's stepmother, not her biological mother. And she had been planning to sell her adopted daughter for a large sum of money. George had already shared this information with John. After killing the judge, John used his phone to call Nora. When she picks up the call inside her car, John is revealed to be sitting silently in the back seat. Nora is stunned. She never knew John was a professional assassin. She always assumed he was just an ordinary man. John takes her away from the city. There, he tells her, "I'll take care of Sung Yun." And with that, he kills her. John then calls the same cleanup crew. They arrive quickly and erase all the evidence once again. After everything is done, John meets his wife and embraces her. At that moment, it's revealed that the girl John had saved from jumping off a building in the past was none other than Natasha. And with that, the movie comes to an end.